because you're gonna glorify something. Everything you do points to something. I'm Cristy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening. Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm Cristy Code Red, your host, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer, and I always love when Carrie joins me on the podcast, and you guys love it too.
Thank you, Cristy. Today, Cristy we had a list of things we might podcast about, and she said, "Ooh, these are too good to do alone." And I was like, "Yes, let's bring it. Let's talk about something controversial that'll make people mad," but we're not going to today. It's not too bad.
Who knows? I always am shocked at what makes people mad that I talk about, or we talk about, or whatever I put on my stories, or they see something in the background of a picture that they don't like. People will nitpick. So I just figured they're going to complain anyway. So let's just do what we want to talk about.
That's true. A couple of things I thought would make people upset, like our Baby in the Bathwater podcast. If you guys haven't had a chance to listen to that one, that was a pretty hard hitting podcast. And I didn't hear too much negative about it. I don't know if there was or not, but I was like, I thought for sure we'd rattle some cages with that one.
Yeah, we try to bring, we speak the truth, or at least our truth anyway. And it's sometimes if people are that upset to actually leave a bad review, I mean, it must have really been to me when I'm upset about something, all I do is just scroll past it or ignore it. But nowadays, boy, people don't mind. They just be.
Cyber bullies.
Yeah. They would never say that to my face. It's always funny. Hey, by the way, I know you can't see this, but in fact, you really can't. I'm trying to show you, but right now I'm wearing our brand new Code Red hoodie. And right now we have listed on our website the Code Red hoodie, the Code Red joggers, and the Code Red jacket that are brand new. There are a few left. This is leftover stuff from our Conquering the Holidays event. We had it shipped to our warehouse, and now you can buy them online. You get a special price if you want to pick 2 or pick 3. We discount it even further if you bundle them. So I would definitely small, medium, and large. The black hoodie, it says stronger every day on the back. The gray joggers with the logo down the thigh. And then we have the Code Red gray zip up jacket. So take a look at that. I've been living in mine so much that I've had to wash it because I keep getting makeup all over it.
I just threw mine in the washer. They're in there right now. In fact, my 11-year-old daughter says, "Aunt Cristy, can I get one of those hoodies?" And Aunt Cristy was like, "Well, what are you going to do for it?" So they worked out a deal so she could get a Code Red hoodie. She lives in the joggers and the hoodies. She loves them.
They are so soft and comfortable. We definitely, and guys, it's not going to be an item we carry all the time on our website, but I think by the time this podcast comes out, we'll probably still have a few left. So go over to coderedlifestyle.com and click on shop, and then scroll down through the items and see if we still have them left. We'd love to be able to send one to you.
And if you're in the app, it's on the left-hand side of your screen. Scroll down past events and all that towards the bottom and click on shop. It's right there.
Yeah. Today we're talking about who are you glorifying with your lifestyle? And when you said, well, we're here, we might ruffle some feathers. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe we would ruffle some. How could we ruffle? But really, I think you're right. I think we might ruffle some feathers with this, just because I think that it's not us saying something offensive. I just think sometimes we say things that cause people to stop and think. And this is definitely one of those issues or one of these topics where who are you glorifying with your lifestyle? Who are you bringing glory to with your lifestyle?
And I think though, Cristy, that the truth is that when people are offended, it's because there is a grain of truth in what the person is saying. And I've said this before on other podcasts, when people would come in and acted, mentally ill, and they would say something, and I would always think, what's the grain of truth? It's like when a couple fights. There's Carrie's story, there's Brandon's story. Somewhere in the middle is probably the truth. So there's going to be a grain of truth on either side. So if something really bothers you and offends you, there's usually something that is bothering you about that. Like there's some part of you that might ring true. We're not talking about absolute wrongs, like murder or things like that. We're talking about when someone says, well, blah, blah, blah. And you go, I'm so upset by that. Like, I hate that they said that. Look inside yourself. So I asked you this question, Cristy, because Cristy and I have found this concept to be true in so many areas, and especially, Cristy, social media. Unfortunately, a lot of what we talk about these days is social media because it consumes such a great amount of our life.
It does. In fact, my iPhone doesn't mind telling me my average social media consumption per day. Thank you, iPhone. It wants to tell me all kinds of things I didn't ask to hear. But this subject I got from Joyce Meyer, and Joyce Meyer is Joyce Meyer Ministry is the largest ministry, Christian ministry on the planet. She is huge. At this time right now in her life, at over 80 years old, I think maybe she's 81 years old or 82 or something, she has written over 150 books. And I listened to her podcast, Carrie and I both do. And although we're talking, she's Christianity based, it's still a good one to bring up. And she brought it up. Who are you glorifying with your lifestyle? Because you're going to glorify something. Everything you do points to something.
And that was my point to Cristy. I said, just look at Instagram stories. So I'm going to click on Instagram on my phone, and the top are the circles. At the time of this recording, they could have changed it by the time this came out. But you click on it and it goes through people's stories. So when you look at Cristy's, you get a certain feel, you get a certain sense of what Cristy's about, what's important to Cristy. When you look at mine, it's a lot of dogs and a lot of me rattling on about stuff and a lot of chickens. You get a sense of me, and you can go through any of them. There are some people that are really into fitness that I followed for a while and then stopped following because it was all about the supplements or all about how to take this pill to get ripped. And, I didn't like that they weren't glorifying the right thing. But the truth is, everything we do, social media included, every time we speak, every time we put ourselves out there, every time we drive the car, every time you show up to work, every time you go to the gym, every time you respond to an email, you are going to glorify something. Your demeanor, your response, what you choose to put out there as public content is going to point to something, whether you want it to or not. It is. Cristy, open up TikTok and look at your For You page. What is popping up in your page? Mine is all comedians and dog grooming videos and chickens. And that's what you can see what I clearly look at. It's pretty obvious what my interests are by what pops up in your algorithm in any of the social medias.
Yeah, totally. I just got into what you were saying and I was like,
Cristy, what pops up in your algorithm? There for a while, mine was support garments. I don't know how I got that algorithm.
I know what I was going to say. When you said this, you're 100% right. Every single move you make, it doesn't matter how small you think it is. It points to something, some way of life, some thought, something you believe in, your belief system, your habits, whatever, but especially how you treat people. I know that I might be, and I even tell my coaches this, our Code Red certified coaches, when they become coaches, I just certified Abby Acuff, who's the sweetest pie. And she doesn't she's just quiet and she's just really a wonderful girl. And I said, unfortunately, now that you're a Code Red certified coach, you're now under the magnifying glass. So I realize that I'm under the magnifying glass as the head honcho of Code Red, and then you are, sis, and all the coaches and the mentors and stuff. But every move I make, I'm being watched all the time. And it's okay because I want to put out, and it's okay because I don't have some secret way that I wish I was if I wasn't being watched. I honestly would be the same person no matter what. But it has made me very aware that no matter even the look on my face, the words that I use, rolling my eyes, my body language, huffing, puffing, getting frustrated with the cashier because she's brand new, or getting frustrated because that old lady in front of me is writing a check, or it's the line's too slow, or whatever. All of that is bringing some sort of, it's reflecting down on me, and ultimately reflecting in whatever my bigger being, my higher being is. Am I getting down a weird rabbit hole here?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that a lot of you that listening may not have a faith similar to Cristy and I. So you may be thinking, well, this is a God thing. It doesn't have to be a God thing. It doesn't have to be a God thing. I mean, but whatever you believe is projected in
Yes.
the what you choose to share with others, what you choose to put out there. And I just think social media is such a great example. There are people that you look at their social media and it's all about complaining and it's all about just the negative. I have a friend on social media that is going through a really hard decision right now, deciding not to get vaccinated and leaving her job. And even if I don't agree with that, that is what she's going through right now. But what she doesn't understand is that every single post that she has put on social media for the last month has all been about that, about my body, my choice. And I'm not saying I disagree with any of that. I'm just saying it's all been geared toward that. That's the only message. God will get you through it. God understands. You can do this. Be firm, freedom. And that's the only message she sent out for an entire month. And it is reflecting what's going on in her life. What's going on in her life is this internal struggle to try to figure out what is the right thing to do religiously, morally, what she can live with. And again, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's interesting how Cristy, for the last month and a half, all of her social media has reflected what's going on in her life. So you're going to reflect something in your social media. I follow a gal that's getting ready for a bodybuilding competition. And all it's been about is the way she looks. Well, that's what bodybuilding is, but she's getting like just 5 days away from the competition. And it's like the entire story is almost obsessed. It's almost like she's kind of veered away from her normal content just to talk about her body. Like, look at my hamstring, look at this one delt muscle. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, because she's laughing at me. But whatever consumes you, making choices about jobs, bodybuilding, whatever consumes you is going to come out in what you present to other people. That was my point of those examples.
And I try to keep my social media well-rounded to where it's not too much code red and not too much of my dogs and not too much of, and I know I am aware of the complaining, by the way. Sometimes I feel like, and sometimes I do, but I try not to complain at all on it, because that I don't want to glorify that. I don't want to glorify the dark side. I don't want to glorify the evil, and I don't want to even talk about it. When you talk about it, those thoughts, when you talk about it, the words have power, and now you're giving power to the thing by talking about it. It's like, so I'm very careful. I try to be very careful. I try to be authentic, but I also try to be careful with what I put on social media to make it to where it's kind of well-rounded, a little bit of personal, a little bit of miles, a little bit of dogs, a little bit of running, a little bit of weightlifting, a little bit of code red, a little bit of maybe complaining about my husband, maybe once in a while, just to keep it to where I'm relatable.
Cristy, I do the same thing. There's been a couple times, I think, of course, not Delta, but a couple of airlines I've definitely told the stories about, probably because I was stuck at an airport and couldn't get a hold of you and I was frustrated. But I've had a couple of examples, but really for the most part, I try to keep all my complaining off of social media because I don't want to reflect that. I'm not saying we can't use our platform if you need it, but I find that is not where I want to put my energy. People don't watch me to see what I think about this airline. People don't watch you, Cristy, to see how you didn't like the girl in Ulta treated you that day. And I know you go through these things because as sisters and friends, we discuss these things. People don't watch you. And I'm just telling you all this. People do not look at your stories to hear you repost. If you don't repost this in 3 seconds, 10 angels won't bless you. Okay. Yeah, they don't. I'm just here to tell you. So be so mindful of what you put out there. People are not listening to me. I make no bones about it. People are watching me because of my chickens, my geese, and my crazy pit bulls. Like they're not watching for any other reason. They're not watching to see what kind of other things I'm doing. And maybe they are, maybe they do genuinely like me. But I think Cristy, when Cristy's tried to veer off into other content and reflect other content, that has not been good for you, has it? I remember you talking about that with me.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I started a different Instagram channel that reflect more of my hobbies. And I
Oh,
try
that's
to
right.
keep my hobbies because it does. It's like when I veer away from Code Red, people follow me for Code Red, and
Yes.
I am Code Red, and they want to see weight loss before and after pictures. They want to see that kind of thing. And if I try to veer off of that, I lose followers. And it's always kind of funny to me. I don't want to care so much, but you have to kind of care because 20% of my business comes from social media posts. So I have to keep posting and things like that. But I definitely make sure that not only what I post, but every move I make in traffic while I'm driving, while I'm walking in public, while I'm walking through the mall with Vinny. Oh, God, Carrie, someone took a picture of me while I was walking out of the fish and game office the other day getting my hunting license.
Right.
And it's just people are watching. And who are you glorifying with your lifestyle? What kind of who are you bringing attention to? What message are you putting out there? Because every move you make, everything you do, your facial expressions, it all matters.
So I have another example of this, Christy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Christy has a friend who I kind of became friends with. And this person is, I'll just say it this way. I'll keep it very vague. It's time for vague book. They used to call Facebook vague book. Like, hey, everybody, just pray.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing. Like, unheard prayers. Don't ask me about it. DM me if you want details. No.
Right.
Anyway, this person started kind of changing their message. It was very interesting. And they kind of started to get into really hippity dippity. Now, Christy and I don't mind a hippity dippity. We believe in energy. We believe in a lot of that kind of stuff. But they got so far over, it was like kind of more of a witchcraft kind of thing. And that was their message. And Christy and I were like, oh my gosh, like this, it may be what they're using to bring in people, but it almost got a little cringy, like for me personally.
Oh, very cringy.
Yeah. And I was like, I told Christy, like, what is their message used to be all about empowerment, and now it's going into power, and you wonder, well, where's that power
Right.
coming from? Like, are
Right.
you going to start calling yourselves a coven? I mean, and
Right.
again, for people that practice witchcraft, of course, that goes directly against what Christy and I believe, but that is your choice. But this person didn't seem like that kind of person. So their content started to completely change the way I thought about them, just because of this one little shift in the way that they were presenting things. Do you remember, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and you'll have to let me know because I quit following them because of that. And you'll have to let me know if you're still following them. Tell me what's going on because I couldn't take the shift anymore. But it does is like, wow, what are you starting to definitely? Who are you? And you know what? If I see that person again, I'm gonna probably say something. If I can do it
Yes.
in the right way, like. I might even say, who are you? I might even say the exact sentence, who are you glorifying with your
Absolutely.
lifestyle? Because that's what you ultimately
Absolutely.
need to examine up against.
We have a childhood friend who okay, enough about, I'll stop talking about stories after this, like people's social media. It's just the best example. Let me give you one more example. We have a childhood friend that Christy and I used to babysit when they were young, and they are so vegan.
Oh, yeah.
And they've gone so far over that way that everything on their social media is all about, and I'm not saying there isn't validity in this. We believe that you should take your protein from very clean sources. That's why we partnered with Crosso Meats. We believe in not being cruel to animals and, farm to table, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this person has gone so far that it's almost upsetting to watch their stories, to where I can't watch them. Christy can't watch them. I mean, it's
I
just,
quit following her like 2 years ago, sis.
yeah, too far, too far. But what is that person glorifying? That person is not glorifying themselves or the amazing background they have or the talents they have. And Christy knows what I'm saying. They have some great talents. You can't see any of that. It's overshadowed by this hatred of the meat industry, not even necessarily that, unfounded, but it's this hatred. And that's all you can see. That is the 100% of the message. Not like, let's see a picture of you. You're a beautiful person. You can do some amazing things. None of that. So be so cautious about what you reflect, because that's what people are going to take of you. People always say, oh my gosh, you live a perfect life. No, I don't. And I try to be authentic. You just don't see every little thing. I do try to stay positive, not fake, but I do try to stay positive. You're not seeing every time. The other day I had the worst day. I cried for most of it. I wasn't on social media. I had a terrible day. Just life, life happens. And Christy knew, but I'm not going to put that out there. Y'all don't need that burden, and so it is so easy to reflect something that isn't necessarily truly who you are.
Mm.
That's what I've noticed.
That's a great takeaway right there. That is what you're putting out there, whether on social and in real life, who reflecting who you really are.
Yes. If you always have your makeup on and you always look perfect and you always have a filter, I know I'm anti-filter. I believe that some people need filters, so I shouldn't say that. I'm not filter hating. If you always have a filter and that's all, and it's always perfect, 100%, and your house is perfect and your husband's perfect and everyone's standing and smiling, you know, like this, like a 1987 prom picture, it's not reality. And that's who you're glorifying, a sense of perfection that other women can't attain because it's not real. Yeah. And so by doing that, when we do that, when we aren't authentic, when we aren't real, when we don't truly put out a picture of what our lives are really like, then what we do is we make unrealistic expectations for other people who can't keep up. They can't keep up. And so that's why I like to show the real parts, you know, the messy floors, the, you know, messy this, the messy that, you know, not getting my stuff done, no makeup on. Cristy is great about this. Cristy shows what she authentically looks like when she wakes up in the morning. I don't ever turn the camera away in the morning when I'm getting the chickens. Like, this is really what I look like. I look like this now, y'all, but this isn't what I look like when I woke up, obviously.
Yeah. That's a great point. Painting a picture that's just not authentic. And so many people online do that. And, you know, Dad said something. I wish I would have known this back when I was 18, before I made the mistake on my first marriage. But our dad said, if you have more good days than bad days per week, then you have a good marriage. And I was like, that's bull crap. Cause you know, you think you just have such an idea of marriage that you think is going to always be good, and it's not. And so when Dad said that if you have more good days in your marriage than bad days each week, then you've got a good marriage. And I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of almost like a letdown. Like, wow. You know, like I'm trying to think of a 68%. That's more, you know, 68% of the week is good. 66% of the week is good. 51. So you're good to go. 51. Yeah. 51. Right. And I think I can beat those statistics, but it's really a great realistic expectation. If you think about it, what's a realistic expectation? And I don't think people put out realistic expectations. And we really encourage you to take a good, long, hard look at what you're putting out there, either on social or in real life, and ask yourself, who am I glorifying with this lifestyle?
Because the problem is, like I said, you set everybody else up who watches you for thinking that they're not meeting a standard. It's a Photoshop standard. It's a filtered standard. It doesn't really exist. People that are perfect and look perfect and act perfect and have perfect lives and perfect children and perfect houses, I'm just here to tell you, it doesn't exist. So when we make ourselves seem perfect and we glorify this perfection, we glorify no cellulite, you know, we glorify, you know, no wrinkles, and, you know, we glorify this idea of perfection, we set other people up to feel bad about themselves. That's why I want to always be authentic. And that's why you're so authentic, Cristy. And people love that about you. Like when you yell at the dogs and chase them around with the fly swatter, that is really how Cristy is in real life. It is real. That is actually how she is. So yeah. I think that Cristy glorifies normalcy. I love that. And striving to be your best and all those other things. I'm not saying you're just normal ho-hum, you know, washes dishes 24/7 and hanging up clothes on the clothesline. I'm not saying that. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying you glorify hard work and being the best you can be and striving for more and being productive. And I love that about you. People can watch you and see clearly what you're all about.
Thank you. Well, and thank you for saying that. And I see these influencers online. I follow a lot of bodybuilders and I love bodybuilding, but I see them and the only pictures they post of the food is when they're having a cheat meal. And it's like they're having 5 meals a day times 7. They're having 35 meals a week. This is just the bodybuilder way, guys. It's not the Code Red way. And so 34 out of 35 of those meals are perfectly balanced and clean. And they're showing you the 2 slices of pizza they had on that 36 meal. And Yet that's what they so you think to yourself, wow, I want to look like this and that girl's eating pizza. No, hold on. It's not really what her life is like, but that's just what she shows you, or she shows you the perfect angle with the perfect lighting, the perfect pose, and you don't see the cellulite, you don't see and the stretch marks, the bruises or whatever, the scars and whatever society views as ugly. She hides those things. And boy, that is just not true.
Yeah, I think when you look at yourself and what you put out and your actions, what you do when no one else is around, ask yourself, where am I pointing my energy? What am I showing others? What message am I sending? And that's really what Cristy and I are trying to say.
Message. I like that.
We're saying it to ourselves as much as you.
Sure.
I mean, trust me, you're not on the chopping block. We're on the chopping block too.
No. Yeah, if you don't need this, we'll just preach to ourselves. We need this. And I like that. Bottom line, what message are you putting out there?
Yep.
To your kids.
Yeah, exactly. To your kids, to everybody. And it doesn't matter, social media, any of it. Just the way you treat the person bagging your groceries, you're sending a message. So you have to ask yourself, what message do I want to send?
Well, that's a great place to end Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Who are you glorifying with your lifestyle? What a great podcast, you guys. I needed to hear this. I know you did. I know Carrie did. And this is a great reminder for all of us to be authentic and stop trying to hide what the truth is, and really take a look at what message you're sending. I think that's the best one. Guys, we would love for you to join us on the Code Red Network, free from social media. It is a private network that is free. I say free from social media, but it's also free. It doesn't cost you anything to join. Create your free account. Go to the Google store or go to the app store if you're an Apple user. Search for Code Red Lifestyle, download your app, create a free account, and join us over there where there's no ads, no algorithm, no drama, no censorship, nothing except just a total immersion of Code Red. And it is a really great place to be, where you don't have to worry about seeing Betty Crocker recipes or seeing political ads or anything like that. It's all Code Red, and we will wrap our loving arms around you and love you until you can love yourself. So come on over there and join us, and we'll see you on the next episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you're not subscribed already, please be sure to do that right now. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could do me a quick favor and rate and review this podcast. That would be just so helpful. Speaking of help, let me know if I can help you. Go to coderedlifestyle.com, check out my programs, and see what we can do for you. Until next time, Rebel on.